Morning, happy Thursday. So, someone asked about Comic-Con. I've been lucky enough to go to Comic-Con a number of times, five maybe. And I mean the one in San Diego. I know there are lots of conventions that celebrate comics around the country, but in this case, it's the San Diego Comic-Con. That's the one I've gone to. And I've gone because I've been presenting. Within the Comic-Con, there is the Comic Arts Conference, which is an academic conference, and that's generally where I've been presenting at. But you get a pass to go around and see the rest of the convention. Um, it's always really fun. And I guess I first went in 2013, and then I think 2015 and 2017 and 2019. So I guess all the odd years kind of in between there. So weirdly, I guess this was a 10-year anniversary. I didn't really think about that initially, but anyway, they asked what it's like. So it's hard to, I don't know. I mean, it's if you've gone to any kind of professional conference, it has some of those trappings, but it is so much bigger and more than that that it's not really comparable either. The convention hall is 2.6 million square feet. I had to look that up because it is massive. And this year I went with Gail and the kids so they could have the experience. And I think they were a little overwhelmed by all the walking and the crowd. I think on a slow year, there's 120,000 people. On a busy year, I think the busiest was like 167,000. This year is someplace in between there. It was like 150,000, I think, is where I saw like the kind of median count right now. Um, but yeah, you show up, you get a badge, um, you get a backpack, which is nice and big. And they have a variety of those. So depending on which line you get in and what day you register and pick up your badge, you get a different bag. And Dylan really wanted one of the Percy Jackson ones this year, but he didn't get it. We got the Bob's Burgers when we showed up. And Gail found somebody on the floor who was willing to swap. So, I mean, that's one of my very favorite things about the convention is I guess I should say the main floor is where you have all the booths and the artist alley and all the displays and those kind of things. And so that's just the floor. Upstairs is where all the panels are, and that's where I presented in 26 AB. Um, that's where like Hall H is and all of those things. Hall H is the biggest part of the biggest theater, the biggest space in the convention hall, and that's where generally like the Marvel and the Disney and those kind of things are debuted. It's typically where Kevin Smith does his chat and that kind of thing. This year, because of the writer's strike and the um, actor strike, well, actors joining the strike, I should say, there was a very limited Hall H. And I say limited because in the past, people would camp out overnight in a line to actually get into Hall H. And so they would stay there all day as much as possible to be there at all the big announcements and previews and those kind of things. This year, there were things in Hall H, but nothing that made lines like that. In fact, I think the longest lines really were for the things outside the convention hall, that didn't require a pass to attend. Because that's the other thing. In addition to this massive convention center that houses all of these things, there are all these activations outside of the convention hall. So this year there was like Hulu and um, animation kind of stuff. Like Rick and Morty had a big, it looked like a big jump house, inflatable jump house, but there were things inside of it. And apparently, if you waited through the long line, you got a cool backpack. There was kind of like a concert thing going on, and those things don't require a badge to get into those. So those lines just are, whoever wants to attend. Um, let's see, what else? Um, this is the badge that I got for presenting, and I noticed on the back of it, it warns me that there are people who might be under the age of 18. I swear that wasn't there when I first presented, which is probably a good thing because my first presentation had a lot of F-bombs and curses as part of the project that I was doing. It totally made sense, but it was, I don't remember that language being there. So I don't know if that's there because of me, but anyway, so there's that. Um, on the floor itself, you can go and wait in lines for autographs. You can meet the artists. You can get commissions. You can ask them to draw something for you. Generally, they're just doing quick headshots or something like that because there are long lines. And then upstairs, the panels that are most people are most interested in. We went and we slipped right into a Todd Knock demonstration where he taught you how to draw Spider-Man. And that one didn't have a huge crowd. The room was full, but it didn't have a long line to get into it. Conversely, Parker really wanted to go to What's Next for Marvel, which was a panel, I guess, of comic book people talking about literally what's next. And part of the attraction was that you got an exclusive item which was I guess a variant cover of one of the Spider-Man comics that was coming up. So we got there 40 minutes ahead of time, and the line went all the way along one part of the building, over all the way along another part of the building, out the convention center, back and forth through this little S-turn thing that was covered in a tent, down the stairs, around the corner, and all the way the length of the building again. And so we sat in that the whole time. And, you never know what's going to happen when you're in line. And I kept telling him, sometimes they'll come out and they'll give you free things for waiting in line. Or, maybe the panel will be over, but you'll be able to pass through the room and pick up one of the exclusive items. I mean, you just didn't know. And so we sat there through the duration of the panel. And by 4 o'clock, when it ended, we did get right to the doors. And so we would have been first in line for the next panel, which I think was about Transformers. But by that point, he was kind of spent, so we took off. So, Summit Comic Con is just kind of slipping into a conference panel that looks interesting. Some of it's anticipation and waiting in line. Sometimes waiting in a line to get into a different line, which is, um, but I don't know. We had a good time. So hopefully, if you're looking forward to getting out there, you get a chance to do that. My very favorite thing is just how excited everybody is to be there. And, it's interesting, everybody has their own nerd version but everybody there seems very supportive of one another. And, we took pictures with the Monty Python guys who dressed up like Monty Python. Gail got a picture with Chewbacca. Like, people who spend that time in those costumes are almost always very gracious and willing and happy to take pictures with you. So if you go, I always just say, just ask. Don't be the creeper trying to sneak a shot over there or something. Ask them, give them a chance to pose. Often that's what they want. They want to look perfect for their photo. So anyway, hope that answers that question. If you have any more, obviously send them to me. I'm happy to answer those as well. Otherwise, hope you have a great Thursday. Bye.